Hola Madridistas. We're live with another awesome episode where we preview the game against Valencia in the upcoming 2 days. And here we have it's kind of an unusual panel. These guys haven't met each other for some reason till now. It's been a long time. So we have the excellent Vishal, who's our resident La Liga expert, and we have Farooq, who's the expert in all things football, I would say.
Indeed. It's been a long time no see, people. Yeah, it's as you rightly said, it's the first time meeting Vishal. So yeah, nice to meet you, Vishal, and yeah, Mr. Jacob. It's good to be back, man.
Awesome, yeah, always. And how have you been feeling? We have been on an upward trajectory for a while now, and things are looking up. Things are different to what we, used to discuss about.
So I would say this, the games start by 11, 12 on my time, so it's quite late, and like this time around, we have midweek games and all that. I used to be a person who can watch games even by midnight by 1. But if you could recall, even the last time I told you, like the games are just so boring. I just feel like it's not worth it. I mean, but the last game against Sociedad, I mean, if you just disregard all our previous results, like the game against Sociedad was a really good game. Even dropping points and missing chances is normal because I'm sure that even when Carlo and his teams, and his backroom staff, plan the season ahead, those games that they mark with a question mark that okay, even if we drop points here, it's okay, still fine. Those are the games because like Sociedad is second in the sorry, it's third in the league standings. If they had won, they would have equaled the number of points we had, and they would officially have been in the title race. So like dropping points against them, it's not a bad thing. And honestly, like dropping the way we played, at least for me, I mean, it was much more than any victory we've had this year. I mean, this season as a whole, for me personally, it was much more than anything we've had. So yeah, I mean, that game was really good. Yeah, but then you know how the thing goes, man. It's just been garbage football on garbage football, man. Honestly, hero ball here and there. So yeah, that's just it.
Well, like Suned always says, he feels like Carlo Ancelotti often watches our podcast, and then because you said, "Hey, the games are so boring, I just don't want to watch." Carlo just said, "Hey, we need Farooq back on the panel," so so he instructed a team to go out all attacking and then play entertaining football, man. So Vishal,
But actually, that's the thing, Jacob, right? So the thing now becomes this. Actually, after the game, when I woke up the next morning, I was actually listening to the podcast, and I was just like, okay, so what's gonna happen now is this, right? We drop points against these guys. So Carlo would be like, okay, I tried this and it's not working, so I'm not doing this again. You know, that's the downside to that as well, man. You might just be, back to the low block garbage counter attacking football again. I don't know, man. But let's see.
Vishal, do you feel the same? Are we gonna go back to our roots and play garbage football again, like Farooq says?
Yeah, I think a large reason of why we were able to play like that is I remember at one point we used to really look forward to Champions League ties because we could play more expansively than in Spain. In Spain, teams would rather take the result than play expansively, and like they'd rather take one or, if possible, 3 points out of the game than walk away with a 5-0 drubbing because they pushed a high line and stuff. But Sociedad is not that team. Sociedad is always
Yeah,
brave. Imanol is always brave. They don't
yeah.
care. They just want to play that kind of football, which in turn gave our players the space and the time to have some fun on the ball for a change, right? And I think on any other day we score at least one goal. Maybe you could say that for them as well, I guess. But yeah, it was a good game, like you said. Like I think it was a good draw only because like we did win a few games before that. Some momentum was building, and like it was a performance which is a good performance, and you can sort of say that okay, at least it didn't kill the momentum too much. Like we'll still be going into good form. Going into midweek, which is again like it's horrible, 3 games in like 7 days. We have to somehow adjust, but I think performance like that, like Farooq said, confidence boosting. Hopefully, like no idea how Valencia is going to set up now that Gattuso's gone and stuff. But yeah, like it depends. It'll be very hard for us to play good football if a team chooses to sit back really tight against us, like teams in Spain like to do. So I think a big reason of why we played well was because we played Real Sociedad. We'll see how it goes with the other teams, I guess.
Yeah, like the major theme for that game was that Sociedad were missing so many crucial players in the middle of the park that
Right.
it made it so much more easier for our midfield to control the game and actually like a lot of space for our attack to flourish as well. Anyways, we have to come back to reality. The teams that we're gonna face are not gonna be Sociedad. They're not gonna be playing all-out football. So we might revert back to our basics or our garbage football. But anyways, let's try to preview Valencia first and then move on to Real Madrid news. So with Valencia, it looks like they're 14th in the league and they very recently went through a managerial change. So Vishal, I'm going to come with you and just ask you about how Gattuso's term went.
Yeah, I mean, Valencia in the last 4 5 years, there's tons of context, and it always goes back to their board. I think it's easily the worst run club of all time in the last 4 5 years. No club comes close for me. They keep selling key players. They keep sacking coaches who have done stuff with them. Gattuso this season was the one ray of hope for Valencia fans. Like, yeah, 14 on the table doesn't look great, but they had an identity. They were playing positional football. They played after Barcelona. I think they averaged the most possession in the league. So that's what Gattuso was instilling: a plan, lot of young talent coming through, and a very fixed style of play. Which is something Valencia was lacking for a long time. So yeah, Gattuso sacking sort of leaves him nowhere. It's not unexpected. The Valencia board is entirely corrupt, keeps making horrible decisions after horrible decisions in terms of players, recruitment, youngsters, and managers. There's not a single Valencia fan that doesn't want the board out or hasn't wanted the board out for the last 4 5 years. It's all turmoil. So the context for Gattuso sacking is the board. No rational person would sack that man because he kind of brought hope back into a very historic, beautiful club that's sort of in the ditches for a while. But yeah, I mean, trust Valencia's board to do it, I guess. So yeah, like this is going to be a huge change because when somebody comes in and instills like a style, a very fixed identity of playing, and you just chuck them out mid-season, new manager comes in, it's gonna be unstable. It's not looking good, actually, in my opinion, for them. So yeah, as far as Madrid's concerned, can't think of a better time to face them. Like this is literally the first game after Gattuso got sacked. There has to be some sort of translation miss, like when Boro comes in as a new manager. So yeah, like I feel like it's a good time to face Valencia. They've just lost their manager, their last ray of hope. To be very cynical about it, it's a good time to face Valencia.
Well, I'll come to your point, right? Like Gattuso, he had some decent performances. He was instilling an identity. But I was just going through highlights. Like I haven't watched any of the games totally, but from the highlights, looks like they are a team that tries to hurt themselves because it is a very young team. And while you have this very possessional brand of football, if you lose the ball in crucial areas, you set yourself up for trouble. And it seemed like most of the goals they concede, it's because it's such a young team and they tend to lose the ball like right in their middle of the park. And it's been a bad couple of months for Gattuso as well. So he's only managed to win 2 games out of 8 in all competitions since the World Cup break.
Yeah.
So yeah, the sacking wasn't fair for Gattuso or the team, but I guess from the board's perspective, like if they had no idea or understanding of football, this would make sense from a numbers perspective.
Yeah, I'd say like results haven't been looking great for like the last few months anyway. So I mean, I guess if you look at it from outside, there might be a case for Gattuso being sacked. But like like watching the club, like the change that he brought, it was way too evident. So it made no sense. Yeah, it does come back to the board. Like they're incompetent. They've been incompetent for a while, and it's not going to change. So yeah, that's just what context there is for Gattuso being sacked.
And that's the other thing. Like this is the perfect time to face Valencia as well because Kluivert is out, Thierry Correa, their fullback is out, Jeremy Costa is out. They have so many crucial players missing, just like in the Real Sociedad game. But I just wanted to like, even though Kluivert is not going to be facing us, Farouk, do you think he's gonna, he has lived up to his dad's reputation? Because this is a question that gets always asked, right?
I mean, that's that's the biggest, how will I say? That's the biggest downside to having, such a famous and such a successful parent. Like everyone is gonna compare you to them, irrespective of what you do and what you don't do. Like, and unfortunately, like Justin haven't lived up to what Patrick has done. Like, I mean, nah. I mean, the answer to that is just capital letter N. No, you know it's really he hasn't lived up to any of that at all, and also he hasn't lived up to the hype as well. He's bounced from club to club. I mean, it's Ajax and then it was Roma and then it's now Valencia as well, and it also doesn't help that
Oh, did we just lose Farouk?
Yeah, I think we entirely lost.
Oh,
Oh,
you're back.
sorry.
No, we just lost you for like a couple of seconds. Could you just repeat what you
Ah,
said?
okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Now it's all good, right?
It's all good.
Yeah, I was saying like also it doesn't help that he was a youngster who jumped from Ajax to Roma, who wasn't that stable of a club back then as well when he was there, and then now also he's at Valencia, and as you guys are pointing out, like with Peter Lim, like I mean maybe I mean Fahad Moshiri of Everton might be the only guy who I just can think out of that my head right now, who is like when you ask of a Warsaw president of a club or owner of a club, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but like Peter Lim has literally run Valencia into I don't know, into almost into ruins, honestly. And as Vishal rightly pointed out, like Gattuso has been the ray of hope for these guys. I haven't seen a lot of Valencia, honestly, but uh, based on what we read and the post match comments and all that, you can actually even see the team with that Valencia actually has right now. It's full of a lot of youngsters, inexperienced players, and players who are just not even up to it. Which just brings about the fact that, as well, Vishal was saying, like they're a team that likes to play a highly possessive game. When you lose the ball, then that structure is not there. But what happens is that with quality players, with players with experience, like you find a way to win back the ball and recycle the possession once again. But he doesn't have that players, so like the board has just hung him out to dry there, so there is that as well. So it's just a downside and it's so unfortunate as well. But I also think maybe there might be some things going on behind the scenes as well, because as we know with Gattuso, like he's a no nonsense person. I think if you guys would know, like before he took the Valencia job, he was at Fiorentina for 3 weeks and he quitted because like he was like, nah, what you guys promised me isn't what I'm getting to. Like I'm not gonna take this. So I feel maybe with the January transfer window coming to a close and no big movements being made and him saying like, okay, like what's the point of trying to do something when eventually we're not gonna get anywhere. So I feel maybe there might be that as well. But I mean, in the coming days and weeks, like we will get more clarity about what actually happened or what didn't happen as well. But then to you guys' point of this might be the best time to face Valencia, I'm not so sure because I think it's a guy from the system who's going to take over as a caretaker, right, if I'm not mistaken. It's not a new guy, And you know how the thing goes, like a new manager bounce, the first 2 games, first 3 games of a new manager, like everyone is desperate to show something, to prove something. So although like they might be short of players, short-handed, and what is not, but playing against Real Madrid gives you extra motivation, as we've seen with Sociedad. Sociedad were missing 9 players, 9 players. They literally had to play, Oyarzabal on one leg, like so. It's and even you could see how brave of a performance they gave. So yeah, honestly, like playing Real Madrid, having a new manager bounce, as also I'm concurring with you guys about it being, the perfect time to face Valencia again.
Yeah, fair point, Farooq. Like this guy Voro Gonzalez, he's like the Valencia equivalent of Jupp Heynckes. So he's not managed any other
Yeah.
club. He always comes in as an interim manager. He has actually come on 7 times in the past.
Yeah, 8, 7, 8 times. Yeah.
Wow.
Across the last 2 decades. Not even like recent, like 2 decades. So yeah, he's
So
the
he's a,
resident
yeah,
doormat, I guess.
very foundation of Valencia, you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, like good things. Like I would say one of the shining lights of their season so far has been Cavani. He's banged in 5 goals in 11 appearances, and the question always has to be asked, right? Could we, as a club, gain from having a player of his ilk and quality? Like we always ask for, hey, can we get a backup for Benzema because in the ilk of Edin Dzeko or Edinson Cavani? Maybe even Ibrahimovic if he was maybe a couple of years younger as well. But uh, how good has he been for Valencia so far, Vishal?
Yeah, he had a bit of a shaky start. Like I remember his first like 3, 4 games. I was crazy. Like everyone was hyped for it. The stadium was full of like posters and everything. They had record attendances like right after the Cavani signing and stuff. But yeah, like off late is when he's grown into it. A lot of Valencia fans have said that Cavani keeps scoring in games that we don't win. But he has been scoring for what it's worth, and he's been a major threat. So I think Cavani will be a threat. As far as signing Cavani goes, I'm not sure. We just don't sign players above 30 on principle, so that's probably not happening anyway. But as far as tomorrow goes, yeah, like Gaia plus Cavani is a bit of a threat because Cavani is good in the air. He knows where to be, and Gaia knows where to put it. So that would be one situation that I would keep an eye on, specifically with us to Cavani, because yeah, he is in form and he knows how to get in positions. He knows how to drag away markers, and whoever's marking him has to keep like a close eye on him because he's in form, like, and he's really feeling it. So provided Valencia show up fine, regardless of whatever's happened around Gattuso and stuff, he would be someone to look out for.
Absolutely. And Sunaid is also down in the comments saying it's Cavani's work rate at 35, man. Man's relentless.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
Definitely, definitely. That's the thing, like Vishal actually was pointing out to the fact that we don't sign players over 30. But I totally agree with that. I'm also not in there for like signing a player for 35 and all that. But the point is, you need a start stop gap. You need that immediate quick fix. And the point is, people like Edison Cavani, people like Edin Dzeko, like those guys give you that. And they come with the knowledge that they're not gonna play for all the games. But they give you that quick fix, like they give you that relentless work and that, and they also score the goals. That's it. Like they also still score the goals. And also they give you a plan B as well. Not just that, not just the work rate or all that. They also give you the goal and they give you a plan B as well. So I feel like that's one thing that the point is we are no longer at the point where we were in the past. I honestly, with the way like right now that Nottingham Forest, like I mean, Nottingham Forest is able to sign Keylor Navas right now. That tells you that everything is different. Honestly, okay, yeah, we're Real Madrid and all that, but the reality is that we cannot be at the level that we were 5, 10 years ago because the scale has changed totally. Honestly, but people like Cavani, people like Dzeko, these are people that are gonna come in, just do a job for you, and move on the next year. And you can see what's gonna happen. But honestly, yeah, I just feel like that what Vishal is saying, that while it might be true, I think we need to start looking away from that. We need to start, having a change in mentality as well, because like these are people that are gonna do a job for a certain period of time. Obviously not for 5, 10 years, but I mean for 6 months, for 18 months, these are people that can get things done. So yeah, I mean, Edison Cavani, all my respect to him. And I also, I used to, follow him while he was at Manchester United, and he was nothing but a very professional player. Although he wasn't playing that much, he was, he was a model of professionalism, honestly. So, I mean, our players, the likes of Rodrigo, Vini, Asensio, and all that, even though Asensio is an old man right now, but they would, like, get to learn a couple of things from people like that, honestly.
Absolutely. You're right, Farooq. We especially should have looked into such a signing because of this special season with the World Cup, with the Club World Cup, and the
Exactly.
Spanish Super Cup
Exactly.
in Saudi. So all of these games are gonna add up, and we have been like reaping the fruits of those with the injuries so far, and let's just hope it doesn't turn out to be worse. Yeah, but before we move on, I would like to, shine a light on two players in Valencia, like Ilex Moriba and Hugo Duro. So these are Ilex Moriba is from the Barcelona academy. He's a
Yeah.
former Barcelona player. He's been moving around or in loans. I believe he's a loan from RB Leipzig, and
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hugo Duro was a Madridista, full and full Madridista. So he actually had a Champions League appearance with us in a game against Atalanta. He came on for Marco Asensio, and it's just like in the office, like they say, how the turntables. And so with these players, do you see like any chance of them recovering their careers once they head into a club like Valencia, Farooq?
Uh, yeah, for me, Hugo Duro, I think he was at Valencia last season, and he got a few appearances, and he actually scored a few goals as well. Like I remember him
Yeah.
scoring very clutch goals last year for Valencia. But this year he's sort of fallen out of favor. Also, a few injuries and stuff. But as far as the light goes, I feel like he has been doing really well whenever he's come on the pitch this year. Really standing out. It's hard to start in that midfield because Hugo Guillamon and Musa are gonna start every game. Really good players. So when Moriba does get a chance, he's been very good. He's imposed himself. He's also started a few games because he's been able to show, let's say, Gattuso that hey, I can handle this, right? So I think I think this was a good move for Moriba. German league and Spanish league are very, very different, like in terms of style. So I'm not sure why a German team would send a Spanish player here, or even vice versa, to be honest. But yeah, in a general sense, I think Moriba's doing good, right? Duro this season maybe not. He's not gotten a lot of chances, due to injuries and also slightly falling out of favor, I'd say. So I'd say Duro would probably, I think he should move to a different La Liga club. Um, Perhaps on loan or whatever. But yeah, like there are La Liga clubs that need strikers for sure, and he has shown that he can score goals for Valencia in crucial moments and stuff. So yeah, I would say maybe Duro could play somewhere else. But I mean, the fans really love him. Like Duro's really, really liked in Valencia and vice versa. Like it's a good fit culture wise. Like they always keep talking about how they like Hugo Duro. So yeah, like that's going for him, I guess.
Absolutely. But maybe Farooq, do you think the reason he likes Mourinho was loaned back to a Spanish club because of his language barrier, or maybe he couldn't fit in at RB Leipzig or something?
Yeah, I think so because actually, Vishal, like hit the targets, hits the bull target in the sense that the leagues are totally different. And a player like Eli Moriba is not a seasoned player, like he's a youngster who's, still learning his trade. So that he moved from Barcelona on to like, and let's not forget that even before he got the move from Barcelona, like he was, like he was orchestrated to I think he wasn't even training with the youth players anymore due to the contract standoff and what is not. So, he moved there under like dubious circumstances and I feel like maybe the move was so quick and too swift for him. He wasn't able to adapt to RB Leipzig because, to be honest, we know the track record of the Red Bull group with developing youngsters. Like their players are all over the top European teams right now. So it seemed like a safe bet, but when you look at it, like really, like the style of play is so different, especially if you're even coming from La Masia, where you're being taught just only one philosophy and you only know and learn one thing. So moving to Germany and with the Red Bull Group, who are like the fathers of Genghis pressing and all that. So it's a whole different thing. So it takes a bit of time to adapt. So I guess that adaptation because it wasn't working, especially when you consider also like the players who are playing in his position at RB Leipzig. Also, like I think if I'm not mistaken, the likes of Haidara and uh, I forgot the name of the other guy. Like there was one of the midfielder I can't remember his name, but they you know they had strong players. They like players who are like under who are in the radar, even the top European teams as well. So it means it's going to be very difficult for him to break into that team. So I think it was a safe bet to come back to La Liga. But then again, the point is, as you guys have pointed out, like Peter Lim's Valencia is like one of the most volatile environments you can ever be in. So it's not stability. It's not a stable club. There is no sense of stability there as well. So honestly, it's just a 50-50 thing. Man. We just have to wait and see how eventually we will be able to break into the midfield or eventually reach his potential. Because I do know that he was highly rated, and if you guys could recall, also I think he almost scored a banger against us. The one there was a last shot which actually hit the
Yeah,
post in the last
yeah, yeah,
minute and stuff like that.
yeah.
So yeah, so we also know about him, from that game. So yeah, only time will show, I guess.
Absolutely. And Sunil's also mentioning like he's a big fan of Thierry Correa, but unfortunately he's gonna be missing tomorrow's game.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I guess keeping that in mind, Vishal, you mentioned the danger point of having Jose Gaya and Cavani combining. Do you see any other like important and crucial matchups on the pitch tomorrow?
Yeah, plenty, man. I mean, if Gattuso was still here, I would be worried about this game. To be honest, they have a great midfield, great engine, Hugo Guillamon, Andre Almeida, and Yunus Musa. Excellent midfield. Samuel Lino is probably the most promising youngster right now on loan from Atleti. He can create threats from anywhere. Like his stats are off the roof as well. Cavani, as we all know, Gaia, as we all know, like best left back in Spain. Thierry Correa, in my opinion, would have been a huge threat. I think Sune is bang on. Thierry Correa is actually my favorite. I think he's one of my favorite right backs in the league. This year he's been really good. I remember he gave Vinny some trouble last time around. It's a huge plus that he's not playing. He offers threat on both sides. He's defensively very strong, but very quick going forward. Can put a cross, very good cross in like Gaia as well. So that's a huge miss. But I would say mostly, like, honestly, I have no idea how they're gonna turn up. Like, it's just really weird to me that like we are facing them when it's a complete reshuffle of like managerial styles and stuff. But so yeah, having said that, I'm not sure how they'll turn up. But yeah, in an ideal world, we should be worried about Gaia. We should be worried about Cavani. Cavani, like especially for those moments in games, like he'll just skirt in front of the center back and just tap it in, right? And before you know it, he's down a goal. So Cavani, like all times, you have to keep an eye on him. Gaia has to be like taken care of properly. You can't just let him like create from that left side. And Samuel, is the third direct goal threat. Like I'd say these three guys have to be kept a lid on. I don't expect them to be as fluid as they were under Gattuso. So, or maybe they might be. Like I genuinely don't know. But yeah, these would be things I'd be worried about. Like attack and midfield, uh, pretty more than decent, I'd say. Like 14 doesn't cut it close. I remember Valencia also had a season like in 2020 or 2019 under Marcelino where they were just playing lights out great football, but just draw after draw after draw after draw. So for me, the season's kind of like that. The results haven't shown how well they've been playing or how much of a threat they can be. Um, Maybe even without Gattuso, because all the players individually have been playing at like a pretty high level. So yeah, like that's what I.
Okay, and Farooq, you were saying this young team with a new manager, it can cause us a trouble because they'll all be looking to impress and getting a starting spot.
Exactly.
And do you see us like struggling in this game, to be honest, or is it going to be smooth sailing? Because I remember like in the last few seasons against like we won the last three matches against them. They're a very young team, pretty inexperienced, but is passion enough to win against Real Madrid?
Yeah, man. I think we actually just played them in the Super Cup recently, like if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it also went to penalties. Although like as you guys pointed out, like Gattuso is no longer there. And what is not, but I still feel like like it's still gonna be Valencia against Real Madrid. So I feel like it's still a traditionally big tie in Spain. So I would still expect it to be a tough game. But and especially with the new manager bounce and what is not. But I would expect us to get the job done one way or another, especially considering the fact that how much of we dropped points against Sociedad in a game that we should have won, maybe. I mean, comfortably, I would say, considering the chances we had. You know, so I mean that would be something that's going to be playing on the back mind of the players as well, and I want to believe that they will use that as the motivation, to go forward and eventually get this done. But I'm expecting it to be a tough time. I'm not expecting it to be a straight walk over there.
All right. Remains to be seen. Like Vishal said, we are not sure how they will line up. We're not sure
Yeah.
who the players are even going to be. Like no positions are guaranteed, I would say, whenever a new manager comes in. But let's see. Unless you guys have anything more to add for Valencia, like let's move on to Real Madrid, man.
Yeah, there's one more thing. I pointed this out in the Sociedad game, like as a last comment. It was Alex Ramiro, their goalkeeper. He kind of showed up. Mamadashvili is a top two or top three goalkeepers in the league. We are going up against one of the best Spain has to offer, so that will be a factor. I feel like he's going to make a few saves. So yeah, that also will be a factor.
Vishal, it doesn't matter like how crappy or how good a keeper is. When they face us, they turn into prime Casillas.
Yes, yeah. It's a rebirth. Yeah.
But then I also think like a save is just as good as the miss. Like I mean, a keeper makes a save, but from the other perspective, it's a miss. So it's also
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're like some. I mean, Porto against Liverpool was a whole different level. Like that was like you know literally God working on earth. Like for for example in the game against Sociedad, like I don't think there was any extraordinary save, but in my opinion, I just feel like there was more of misses than extraordinary saves, in my opinion. So while a goalkeeper can be, outrageously good and what's not, but I feel like also it's also on the attackers, especially in certain situations that that's a miss from your side, not a save from the keeper.
Yeah, and Sunil actually brings up a good point. Like he asks OGs remember Carlos Kameni, the Espanyol keeper.
Oh yes, he was from Cameroon actually, Carlos Cameroon. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, what a keeper!
Also a FIFA legend.
Absolutely.
Exactly, also a FIFA legend, right?
Yeah.
Also a FIFA legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big up.
I mean, we used to have very good goalkeepers in Spain, man. I remember like there was also Diego Alves once upon a time as well, like the penalty master, the Brazilian Diego Alves. He was the penalty master as well. He was like so good with saving penalties. Yeah, I mean, for a time.
Oh yeah, that's the correction. He was the Malaga keeper, Kameni.
Exactly, yeah. Carlos
Yeah.
Canemi was at Malaga actually. But I think Canemi before he went to Malaga, he was at a different club. I can't remember the name of the club, but he was at a different club. I can't remember actually right now, but I do. He was at Espanyol. Yes, Carlos Canemi was at Espanyol. Yeah, I just remembered now. He
That's
was at Espanyol before he moved to. Actually, Malaga found the Arabian money at a certain point in time, where they got the likes of Roque Santa Cruz and all those guys, and they went to the quarterfinals of the Champions League as well,
Yeah.
if I'm not
Isco.
mistaken. Exactly, the time of Iscos and so on and so forth. Yeah, so that was when they also brought Canemi on as well. But before that, Canemi was at Espanyol. Yeah, all these.
So yeah, good throwback. Anyways, I guess we can move on to Real Madrid, where we have some really good news, Farouk. Carvajal and Tchouaméni are back.
And then how does that change? How is that really good news?
Half of it at least.
I mean, how is that really good news? Weren't they there in October? Weren't they there after the World Cup? I mean, the point is, like I saw Javier wrote a message in the group in the morning. I don't know how true or false it is. That Real Madrid had the chance to get João Cancelo on loan, and we turned it down. I mean, I just read it and I just dropped my phone. I was like, there's nothing I can. I mean, there is no comment you can make on this comment. I know, like, okay, we're not a team that makes transfers, in general. This is fine and good. I understand. But there's some opportunities that are too good. Okay, as I said, I'm not sure how true this is, but if there's a hint of truth to this, there's some opportunities that are just too good to turn down. And honestly, Jao Cancelo is that. Literally is that. But it is what it is, man. I mean, we've played with Chouameni all season long, and as I said, really, the Sociedad game was the best game I had seen this season. Really, for me personally, this is the best game I have seen this season. We've played with Carval all year long. Still, that's the game I have seen this season. So, like, at least for me, like, it's not, yeah, the players are back. It's just more bodies in the team, but, like, it's not like it's a good news that I would go, oh, yes, we're going to start playing, 2017 is back. No, we're not in 2017, we're still in 2023, man. It's just the continuation from the Champions League final after the final till now. It's just, same old garbage, man. I mean, but then it is what it is. Let's see how it
Man,
goes.
Farouk,
Is it just me or is Vishal, frozen?
No, Vishal is pretty okay, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be a internet, but it's all good. I can hear you guys fine. Anyways, Vishal, like, do you share the same really, really super negative sentiment? Because, like, I would say one positive is that we won't see Kamavinga again in left back, I hope. I'm not too sure. Because Nacho
You think
can
so?
cover.
You
I
think so? How is
actually,
that a positive? Sorry, Vishal, before you. So how is that
yeah,
a positive, Jacob? I mean, that's the best thing that has happened, man. Okay, I feel bad for Kamavinga because it's not his position. But man, boy, oh boy.
talk
I
about
mean,
an upgrade. Yeah.
Have you ever said this after the World Cup? He said, like, there is a possibility for Kamavinga to be a left back. And I was like, okay, let's see. But boy, oh boy, for 90 minutes and a half, 1.5 game that I've seen him play, now that's something positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even in the World Cup games where he played left back, he was really good. But it's just.
That's something positive. Honestly, at least for I mean, the point is the bar is so low right now that anything is an upgrade. Honestly, the bar is so low that anything is an upgrade, right? At this point that we are right now. So honestly, like, credit where it's due. Like, I was very skeptical of Kamavinga at first, but last year he showed me that he has, what it takes to succeed at the highest level. And honestly, like, I even respect him even much more after seeing the way he slotted into the back, into the left back position and his understanding of the position, because really, like, I think it's not easy for a midfielder, to be asked to roam around on the wing, the way he understood the position, the way he's able to deliver, the assignment that's been asked of him, honestly, like, hats off, man, 100%.
Yeah. I feel like Ancelotti has answered a lot of our criticisms, like of this point especially. So he said regarding Kamavinga, he said Kamavinga is a super special player. He's our like future defensive holding midfielder, and it's just unfortunate that he has to play left back. But he said with the return of Carvajal. And the absence of Alaba actually, like, so Nacho should be able to cover the left back positions again, and we can expect to see Kamavinga back in the midfield. So, like, Vishal, is that good news for us?
Yeah, I guess. I'm actually on Farouk's side here. I think left back has been an issue, like major issue. Like Mendy dipping on levels, not being on the same levels. And I feel like Camavinga is not just fitted in, but he kind of looks like an upgrade on some level. Like obviously too early to tell one match, whatever. But I mean, I just know if Camavinga goes into a duel, he's gonna win it at this point, right? At this point, if he understands the space around him, especially off the ball, this is something he's had to work on this season. He didn't start off well, in my opinion, Camavinga. His off the ball sense was a little here and there. Carlos saw that as well. Now he's like back at CDM at left back. He understands the space, he understands his area, and he knows when to take people on. He dispossesses them easily, and also he's very natural at pushing forward, giving Winnie that extra option, right? That everybody keeps talking about. Mendy doesn't do. Kamavinga does that, to be fair. So I think he's an upgrade. Again, like Farooq said, it's sad for Kamavinga and all that, but yeah, like you're playing for the team, and if you're doing well at left back, stay there. Help us out for the rest of the season. Because yeah, I mean, the other cases you can use him better in the midfield, but With Germany back, I'm actually a bit more confident about like our midfield looking fine. I've always maintained that once Germany is back, we will start to automatically and magically look better. That's gonna happen, in my opinion. So plugging in that left back hole, both full back roles, like we know though that's our weakest position. This is the most hope I've seen from a full back position in a while, I would say. So I'm pretty pleased about what's happening with Camavinga at left back. I know it's whatever ethical, moral, throwing a kid into the dark side of town. I know all of that, but it's good, like it works out for us. He's willing to do it. Carlo praised his professionalism and all of that. So it's good. I think it's a good move for us. We like seeing that. It solves a few problems for us. So yeah.
I wouldn't say he's like totally willing to do it because he did have a comment on Twitter saying
I remember.
a fan just commented, "Hey, are you gonna like something about starting in left back?" And then Kamavinga said, "Don't get me started." Yeah, it is what it is. But I would say like he is a totally reliable option, probably against even like the best attackers in the world because he faced against peak Messi and then did a job on in that final. So yeah, totally on board with you guys as well. With how we're using Kamavinga, it just sucks for him as a whole.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, just some more context, like which never comes into the Kamavinga situation is he is still very young. It's never easy to break out at a club like Madrid. I feel like it's like the reason I said that he sort of put himself out there to play in different positions is because, I mean, especially in midfield, we are so stacked right now, and Carlo is the kind of manager that we've always said he likes um, the options that he's used so far, right? So, all things considered, like the context that he's still very, very, very young, he still has plenty of time. We still have so many years of him left to watch in his best position, thriving, making sure our midfield is awesome. Like, yeah, it's gonna be great. Like I know we're throwing him here and there for now, but we're gonna hold on to him. Like, it's not gonna be an Odegaard situation because Camavinga is like really special. Like, I think at 16, everybody in the world wanted him. Like and like because he was making those waves. So yeah, like he is something long term. We're going to be seeing a lot more of him in his favorite position, our favorite position, the manager's favorite position, whatever it is. This little spell where our older midfielders keep performing at high levels and therefore making themselves available for selection, it's just an unfortunate circumstance.
Yes, absolutely. And I guess before we head into like discussing the lineups for Real Madrid, I just wanted to like highlight one more quote about the transfer market from Ancelotti. Like we know, just to give the viewers some context, we didn't go for Fran Garcia this season because from Carlo explained that we have a good relationship with Rayo. So we don't want to stifle Fran Garcia's growth as well because he wouldn't be an immediate starter here with Mendy also here. So it doesn't make sense for us to bring him back for just this season. But we should expect him to be here for next season. And yeah, like otherwise, Ancelotti had some good comments about Ceballos being able to replace Modric as well. Like Farouk, do you see like with Modric kind of slowing down this season because of playing too much? Can Ceballos step up and take his role for a consistent amount of minutes?
I mean, I've read a couple of write-ups here and there that actually, make sense, and they are all pinpointing to the fact that the year Modric won the Ballon d'Or, like he literally had the worst season of his career. Like, because he was much, and this time around he had a similar pattern as although he didn't final, but he still had to play the whole game at the World Cup, but he had to play not least as well. So whether you like it or not, like Modric is a very, very, like a player who both combines both the physicality and the technicality of the game. He's not someone who just, I mean, he's not someone like James Rodriguez who just, like plays half of the game and his technicality just shines through. Like Modric combines everything, and because of that, honestly, I can understand the deep that he's having, and even I can resonate with Carlo more in the sense that now he sees that because the point is 4 games, 5 games, it was so obvious that Modric was out of it. Carlo wasn't helping the situation by constantly playing him, starting him constantly, But with the emergence of, Dani Ceballos, who was really, really, come to the fore, in the past couple, I think 3, 4 games. I think that's they I think he has gained the trust of Carlo because we know that Carlo is a very, very conservative person when it comes to trusting new players. So I feel like because of that, like now he feels like okay, he can give Luka Modric that deserve for that trust that he needs. And hopefully, I do believe that by resting Modric here and there, he will be able to hit the peak that we saw towards the end of last season. Sometime soon, hopefully before the game against Liverpool, and all that. So yeah, I'm really so happy for Dani Ceballos because he's been through a lot of garbage things as well. Like with the Arsenal loan, wanting to go back to Betis, not being able to go back to Betis, and what he's not, and literally he was competing against the best midfield in the world, so there was nothing he could have done. So I mean, yeah, at least Ceballos brings what I loved about Kovacic because Kovacic was that person who could bring the ball, you know, drop of shoulder, beat this person, evade the press, pass the ball. He brings that energy as well, which is something I loved about Mateo Kovacic a lot. But yeah, Dani Ceballos brings that to us, and also I think okay, yeah, not a starter yet, like not a full-fledged starter yet, but he's someone who can at least give the players a break here and there, and something like that. And I wouldn't be too worried about that, honestly, about Dani Ceballos and subbing for Luka.
Absolutely. And Farooq, like Sunit says, Farooq, your mic is kind of muffled. I would say like the last bit when you raised your voice a bit more, it was much more clearer. So maybe speak up a little more like going forward.
Yo, Sunil, how much are you gonna pay me to speak up more, man? You should pay me. My voice is precious, man. That's the thing.
Um,
I shouldn't break my vocal cords, man. You don't know what I do on my free time. I'm a musician.
a musician.
Who knows, man?
All right. Well, Vishal, like with regards to Ceballos, do you think Ancelotti is kind of getting his hands forced because Modric has not been in the greatest of forms since returning from the World Cup, and even when coming on from Real Sociedad, like how do you think his game was?
Yeah, Modric hasn't like I mean, I keep expecting him to appear. Like he's come off the bench, I think the last 2, 3 games, but yeah, he's sort of ghosted. I would say, like I keep expecting him to make an impact, which he hasn't done. So yeah, there has been a post World Cup dip for sure. Um, on some level at Cruz as well, but I think the last game Cruz was really good. Also being played at six, whatever, out of position. All of that stuff adds up. So yeah, all of this is basically adding up to opening opportunities for Ceballos, right? And the thing I like the most about Ceballos is that he's so on the nose about it. Like, I think he said that I have 4 months left to prove that I deserve to stay at Madrid or that I deserve a contract renewal at that matter, right? So, he's showing it and he's showing it in quality on the field. For me, I would say, like, I think I agree with Farooq. I don't know if I would start him every game. I don't know if I'm going to put him in my first team. I don't know if Carlos going to do that, at least as a long-term idea. But yeah, like I would say it's always good to have really good squad depth. Like that always helps. If you have one player out of form, 2 players out of form, Ceballos can come in. He can play the Cruz role. He can play the Modric role. I personally think he plays the Cruz role a little bit better. But whatever it is, right? Like he can sort of slot in different parts of the midfield, perform different roles. Very useful player, very sort of selfless. Sometimes like, but actually last few games, like even his decision making has been flawless. Earlier in the season, sometimes he just tried to do too much. I just hope he keeps this streak up where he's sort of returning to his better levels of form, where like really clean decision making, proper show of technique when required, beating players, finding forward passes. Like he's just been bang on. He's just been like a prototype Spanish midfielder for the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 or 4 games. So that's what we love to see. So yeah, I really would like to see him keep these levels up and earn that contract renewal because like I absolutely wouldn't mind having him if he's playing at this level consistently.
Yeah, he's always been this unlucky player, right? Especially under Zidane. He found minutes really hard to come by. Like even in the like really easy Copa del Rey games, he wasn't preferred. He was maybe coming off as a sub again. So yeah, good time for him to flourish, and I just hope he stays also because he's a really solid backup option, especially when we might go for a really good midfield signing in the summer. So yeah, but let's just hope, man. Farooq, you're shaking your head. Like, don't you think like we're gonna get like a marquee signing in the midfield?
I mean, that's the thing, right? You're gonna get a Mikey sign in the midfield, which is arguably the most stocked department which you have on your team. And you're gonna play with Lucas Vasquez and Frank Garcia in the Champions League against Manchester City. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I mean, that's cool. And then we're gonna play with what's he called, Mariano Diaz, as when Benzema gets injured. So yeah, it's cool. Let's put Jude Bellingham there. It's gonna solve all the problems in the world, and world hunger and poverty is gonna end, and yeah, everything is gonna be cool.
It's the Real Madrid way, like it or not.
Indeed, it is.
Galactico
It
way.
is. Indeed, it is. That's the thing. That's the sad thing. Indeed, it is. And then we're gonna have a dip, and then we're gonna complain about why we don't have a fullback, and then everyone is gonna wake up and go and win 20 games in a row and win the Champions League, and then we're gonna be back again. So it's just an endless cycle, man. Honestly. But yeah, as you guys said, that's the style. That's how we roll.
Yeah, fair point. But anyways, we absolutely need to win this La Liga game because we are 5 points off the top, and like just coming into this game, like, do you feel like Barca's form is kind of waning here and there, or are they like the really strong contenders they were 3-4 games ago?
Actually, that's the thing. Like I think you guys also have said it on the previous sports. Like one thing we always know about Barcelona in the league is that they always find a way to win, honestly. Like that's the one thing we don't have that they've always had, and that's something that I think we always envy them with. Even if they're down, if they're up, whatever happens, they just always win. Honestly, they always win. They always win. So that's the thing. But that's one thing. But what we can do is just we can stop shooting ourselves in the foot as well and just make up the points. Because the point is, I still believe that although it's a 5 point gap, we have to play Barcelona, right? If we can win against Barcelona, it's a 2 point gap, and I believe that 2 points is literally nothing. So that's the thing. But the point is, we should try to not make the mountain insurmountable. Like we need to win these games. That's the thing. We need to start to grind out victories. Really. That's why like I mean, everyone on the panel knows that I've never been, like the biggest cheerleader for Carlo Ancelotti, but you can never say anything about it because he knew how to grind out the results. His low block was working, his counter attacking was working. I mean, whatever his philosophy is, I don't know what it is, but it's working. You understand? He's able to grind out the results. Either you like the style of play or you don't like the style of play. It's working. So he needs to, do that, get the players back, get them that mojo, do the juju again, and we need to start winning games. That's the thing. Like it's 5 points now. Any drop points goes to 7 or 8 points, and that's now getting too big, honestly. So we need to start winning games. And although, like as I said, like the manager bounce with Valencia and what is not, but I do believe that we're gonna get back to winning ways in this game. It's gonna be difficult, but I believe that we're gonna get it done this time around.
Yeah, Vishal. Do you feel like so Barcelona have the Villarreal game coming up as well? That should be like a spicy encounter. Do you feel like they will have the same problems that we facing against Villarreal?
Yeah, so Barcelona do have a bit of a difficult fixture list coming up. Like, not just Villarreal. I think there are a few other games. I don't remember exactly who the opponents were, but they are facing some tough opposition. But having said that, like, I don't like this Barcelona team, as in because they do seem to be pretty good, right? The thing I like the most about Javi Ball, and as a Madrid fan, dislike the most is that he's also a little pragmatic, like in a way that no Barcelona manager has ever been in the history of Barcelona Football Club, right? He knows when to play direct and not just keep the ball, right? Sometimes he sees a counter attack, he's like, yeah, take the counter attack, right? Don't pass the ball around again. Sometimes when he wants to defend, he's going to go and defend, right? That shows me a level of versatility in let's say a classic Barcelona coach that we haven't seen till now. He's been using that well. He's been using that well to grind out victories. Barcelona never used to grind out victories. They either used to get smashed, or they'll make some comeback, or they'll score a billion goals, right? This 1-0 grind out prototype was never a Barcelona thing. I don't know where it came from. It's come with Xavi. They've started grinding out results. That is a bit of a problem. That's not a gene they've had, in my opinion, for a while. Like they were more of a destroyer team in the league. Now that they're gonna grit out some wins, yeah, I'm not like I feel like that's indication that they might keep winning at a high level. Having said that, I'm not sure if they're going to perform. Today they're playing Betis, right? In like 45 minutes. Also going to be a difficult fixture on paper for sure. So this is one game where maybe you can hope that they'll drop points. This fixture never disappoints, so it'll be a good game for sure. But yeah, like difficult fixtures for Barcelona, we can hope for them to drop points. But I think, like Farooq said, like our eyes should not even be on Barcelona now. Like, get our own shit together, start getting some points, like win games, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. If you don't keep the pressure on, they're not gonna feel the pressure. They're just gonna be just fine. Keep winning games, not an issue. Ride out the end of the season like we did, right? Even that Clasico when we didn't care. We had a 12-point gap. We absolutely did not care. Just went back to business as usual the next day and won the league comfortably. We can't let them do that, right? We can't let them get too far ahead. So yeah, I think like as long as we hold ourselves together, Barcelona will drop points. Like I don't think it's possible for them to like completely like get 3 points forever till the end of time. Um, Inevitably they'll drop. It's just we have to capitalize, but to even capitalize, we have to be close to them. So that is our responsibility now. Like no choice but to get 3 points. I feel.
Yeah, fair, important point because with regards to them dropping points, I feel like this has been the best Barcelona defense in like decades. It's so rare that they
And
concede.
Yeah.
six goals in 19 games, if I'm not mistaken,
Hey,
right?
it's Kunde, man. What a great signing.
Yeah,
Man, I mean, that's even something to brag up Mourinho said, man. I think Mourinho had 15 in 38 games with Chelsea in his first team. I mean, really, as Vishal said, like that's a team like really like one team that we've never had. I mean, at least I can't remember a lot with Barcelona was that defensive solidity that's really outrageous. Like right now, like they literally all okay. Like there are games where like they supersede their XGs in like Ter Stegen makes outrageous saves and all that. But you watch other games and you feel like Barca is leading 1-0, but you could play the games for 5 years and they wouldn't even concede, man. Like that, that there were games like that, honestly. So like, yeah, credit to Jules Koundé and also the return to form of Andrew Ter Stegen as well. So that defense as well. So it's outrageous, honestly. But it is what it is. But then also, I mean, I also take confidence in the fact that they conceded 6 goals and 3 of them it's from us. So I mean that means that yeah, we're like we can do this. We just have to get our shit together. Firstly, just firstly calm down, go back to the roots, start to get 3 points. Sooner or later, you just see it's gonna be 4 points, it's gonna be 3 points, it's gonna be 2 points, it's gonna be 1 point, and it's done. You know, so that's the thing. And the good thing about La Liga, it's head to head, man. So we just have to defeat them and they drop points in one game, and we're all equal and square. So that's just it. So yeah, that this is totally doable. Honestly, we just need to calm down and remember how to win games again.
absolutely. And by the way, like LMS is down in the comments saying, you guys giving Xavi too much credit. I don't think that's on purpose. He's just following the flow with the players that he's got. A lot of them players are built for counter-attacking football. And like I said, like a lot of their players are really good defensive, like and quick, fast, strong players in the form of
Yep.
Kunde and
Yep.
Balde. But a manager always needs to make that system work, and I feel like Xavi has done an okay job so far, better than okay even.
I think actually that's to Vishal's point, right? Because we've always had the Barcelona way, and like I mean, no one epitomizes Barcelona more than Xavi Hernandez himself, But the fact that he's able to understand, as Vishal said, he's understanding and adapting to the players he has, as you guys rightly point out. I mean, you have Rafinha and Dembele and Ansu Fati, and just to name a few, and the likes of it's and also like with Balde as an outlet as well, so it's gonna be like kind of so weird. Like if you don't play with their pace, like these are the main outlets how you can hurt a position and what's not. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't personally want to give Xavi credit, but we have to be unbiased and give credit where it's due, and that's just it. But then saying that we can close the whole Barcelona thing, let's not become
Yeah.
fanboys.
Okay, Sunit has a really nice comment. He says the only people fancying him are lawnmowers and drill cream. Oh boy, that's a sick burn. Yeah, let's get back on track, guys. I guess we can start to discuss the lineup because this is such a crucial game. We can expect all of. Let's start from the attacking part. So Vinny, Benzema, and who else is gonna start? Vishal.
I think Rodrigo has to start. Uh, I know impact of the bench, etc., etc. And with Rodrigo, we do this really annoying thing where we shift him over also to the left, and then we overload the left, and then there's nobody on the right. I think that's my least favorite thing about Ancelotti this season. That's coming tomorrow, but I feel like everyone's like a little more zippy this time. Vinicius, Benzema, Rodrigo, the combinations are coming alive. So if we do play like a 4-3-3 as planned, I think there's been a lot of news of us flirting with like the 4-2-3-1 as well, but assuming a 4-3-3 until we see a different formation. Yeah, I think Rodrigo deserves to start. Fede, I don't know. We know there are rumors of multiple reasons for his form, etc. But yeah, I think Rodrigo has most definitely on this spot by now, in my especially like recent form.
Yeah, and Farooq, do you see the same thing, or do you see a surprise Asensio start?
I do agree with Vishal here like that. I think Rodrigo continue riding momentum like for the past couple of
Oh,
games.
wait, you're cutting out again. Your mic is cutting out.
My voice is cutting out.
Yeah, it did cut out. Now it's okay. Now that you raised your voice.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm saying like I agree with Vishal on that, about the Rodrigo thing. Like I think he has to continue riding his momentum because I feel like this game building upon game, that's the way he will eventually become what Vini became, like become an unstoppable player eventually. And I don't know what you guys think, but I just feel like like Rodrigo seems like someone to me who is like a 10.5 or a 9.5. I don't know what that number is, but I feel like he's more dangerous, and the combinations he make in those central spaces is like is literally outrageous compared to even if he plays on the left, which is apparently his favorite position. I feel like Vishal was talking about a 4-2-3-1 thing. I don't know. It might be like obviously like because I am not like a tactical person, I don't understand the tactics and all that. But someone might say this is like FIFA, team. But I think like Rodrigo on a number 10 with either Fede and or Asensio playing on the right, and Vini on the left might be something. Honestly, like it might be something I'll be curious to see because I feel like he's not. I feel like Vishal is saying like he's drifting to the right. I see it on the other hand that it's not like he's drifting to the right. He's more of drifting towards the center where I don't know if it's where he's more comfortable or I don't even know what the word is. But I feel like, Rodrigo has a 9.5 or a 10.5 or whatever the number, whatever the position might be, would be something very detailed in the way he combines, with the people around there, especially with, Vini and Benzema as well. But I feel like his understanding with Vini is even much more because I've seen in the past games, the way they want to each other and what is and what is not. So I feel like that might be something eventually. But yeah, I mean, for now, for me, Rodrigo should get that start and on the right wing. So I think it should be Rodrigo, Vini, and Benz. But as I said, like I would also love to see Rodrigo in a 10 position and another wing on the right as well.
Yeah, I actually like to see Rodrigo in a central position in this Valencia game as well because they might crowd the center of the park and try to park the bus when we have our attacking sequences. And the more tighter the space that you give Rodrigo, the more dangerous he is because once he gets through that like those 2-3 players crowded part of the pitch, he is at his most dangerous and he can just pick out the right pass like 9 times out of 10. Which is why like he could be like really suited to this Valencia game. But anyways, like only Carlo knows what Carlo's gonna do. Let's see. I
Yep,
guess
yep.
so. We're completely, I guess, discounting Valverde's involvement in the right wing because there is. Do you think, like Vishal, there is a need for like real defensive solidity if Carvajal starts in this game?
That's actually a good point. Carvajal probably coming back. Uh, like might I mean, you're mentioning it in context of Valverde, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I agree that like Valverde might help even things out, considering that I don't know, I don't Carvajal back after injury, not on good form, like bit of not red flags, maybe orange flags for me. I would be slightly worried about that. So yeah, that's actually one case for me for starting Friday. Just back up a bit more numbers in the middle, maybe make sure that the press is a little bit more center oriented, more tight, and then add numbers at the back as well. So yeah, that's like one case I would say. Start.
Yeah. Let's see, man. But again, let's come back to the midfield then. So who's your like okay from these group of players? Who's your number one pick for the? Who's the first name on the pitch in the part of midfield?
I mean, for the midfield, if Chouameni is back, like I mean, he's the number one pick. If he's match fit and ready to start, like it's Chouameni, and then it's I think Tony Cross, and I will go with Fede there to give Modric extra rests. Not not a shade on him, but just I think Modric needs this additional rest in my opinion. So I will go with that. I will go with a midfield of Fede, Chouameni, and Tony Cross actually. So that's it. And I think honestly, like Fede Valverde is no longer like 21 or 20 or something like that. We need to start to put him in a fit in a in a stable position where he can actually eventually develop and own this position eventually. But the point is we keep playing him as a right winger and we keep playing him as a midfielder. So honestly, it's not. I mean, I'm a very big fan of Fede Valverde because I actually recently had this argument with someone. I told him that if Fede Valverde wasn't Uruguayan, if he was Brazilian or British, or if just take away Bellingham from Dortmund and put Valverde there, you would still be talking about Valverde in the same way you're talking about this guy. But the point is that there's this thing that when you have something you don't know the value of it until it's gone, and then you feel like, oh wow, that was a diamond actually. I don't know, maybe because I rate Valverde so highly and I expect a lot from him. But I feel like we need to start to look inwards as well, like to see that okay, we have a rough diamond here who last season showed that he can actually be very, 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 very valuable member of the team. I think so. We need to start to stabilize him as well and stop, constantly changing midfield, winger, midfield. I think the jack of all trades needs to stop, and we need to help him develop into the superstar that he is, and also so he can cement his position in the team as well. So I would love to see that experiment of the wing team stop and just play him, in the. I mean, obviously in the big games when you need to have that defensive reinforcement and what is not. Fine, we can do that. You know, but I mean, with all due respect, we shouldn't be going to Espanyol and Mallorca and still playing with Fede Valverde on the week. That shouldn't be the case. So yeah, for me, the midfield trio will be Cross, Chouameni, and Fede.
Vishal, do you agree with that?
And
Like, for sure, Cruz is like on top of his game. Chouameni as well will be really appreciated in the middle of the park. But given Fede Valverde's current form and Ceballos' like rise in form, who would you go for?
Yeah, I think the last few shifts of Fede at center mid haven't been much to talk about. Like I think he's done better at creating from the right, fortunately or unfortunately. Um, but yeah, I think based on current form, and Carlo does tend to go on current form. Um, it would be close to Germany, but I feel like Ceballos might get the start. Um, I I actually don't mind either of them starting. Again, if you're just basing on current form, I would also pick Ceballos. But I do tend to agree about Valverde with Farouk, which is like decide, right? One way or the other. This sort of juggling, I feel like this season it's showing its effects. Where this season, especially like I think around 4 or 5 games where he played at midfield, I feel like he looked like a completely different player. He was lost, like he was not appearing for the ball. He wasn't making himself available, just sort of hiding away in the midfield. And I feel like that is just not the Fede I know, right? So not sure what it is. Maybe it's just all the role confusion and stuff. Maybe it's the personal problems that many people have been alluding to. Whatever it is, like I would say like we need to get a lock on that because it is true that it's not great for your development to just be thrown around wherever, right? Like similar how we talked about Cameron, I guess. So that. Having said that, I would actually start Ceballos just because I think players in form just keep playing, right? Like keep getting that game time, keep earning that bread. Especially highly motivated players like Ceballos who have something to play for, who want to earn something for next season and things like that. So yeah, just based on that, Tusomani Ceballos sounds a little like passing heavy, but I think Ceballos should make up for that. And also, I think one thing that we'll see is Cruz at LCM, which made him possibly the best player in the world in the beginning of the 2020 season. He's just flawless when he has that left center mid angles to work with to just completely dominate the play. Germany being there at six is going to be priceless to aid that and also Germany himself. So yeah, Cruise Germany is something I'm really looking forward to seeing again. It was the hallmark of some of our best possession play in the first half of the season. And yeah, I would just fill out Ceballos in the other slot for now.
Absolutely. I feel the same too. Like, no matter who starts along with Cruz and Chaumeni, I feel like this midfield has more than enough to take Valencia on. And my only hope for this game is that Modric comes on a bit early in the second half, and he also gets like a good shift in, because we need his form to pick up as well for the hard fixtures that are coming up. All right. I guess we can move on to the defense. So let's start with the left back. You guys say Kamavinga, Steph.
Kamavinga,
Kama.
Kamavinga.
Yeah,
There is
yeah,
no, there are no
I'm pretty clear
doubts.
on that too. Yeah.
Well, that's only okay. Yeah, I agree with you guys. Like, there is no realistic option. Like, someone as good as Kamavinga, we need to capitalize on this
At this
moment.
point, we're
Yeah.
using him like a bar of soap, but whatever, man. Poor kid. It is what it is.
Well. Yeah. I guess that leaves us no option. Like, do you think Carvajal is actually gonna start on RB, or has Nacho warranted a start as well? Faru, you can
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
think Nacho has warranted his start. Like, I don't know. I thought his first, I think his Athletic Club game at RB was excellent. Like, it's really, really good. Um, and I think we had a couple of games after that, or one game. I wasn't sure about that one, where his passing looked a little here and there. He wasn't pushing the play forward well enough. So having said that, I would like to ease Carvajal back in and not just throw him in the line of fire. So I trust Nacho here. I think he's been a decent like makeshift right back. We can play him there, and we probably should. But yeah, I do think Carvajal has to be eased back in. He has to come back with that confidence because that is our only hope, in my opinion, right? Right back, like we keep saying, fullbacks are our biggest problem positions. Getting Carvajal back in form, confident, ready to go before, like, I mean, it's already UCL, but before all of that drama starts, is very important for how the rest of our season goes because it's a critical position. So I feel like we need to really think about how we ease Carvajal back in, make sure we handle his expectations, his form, because again, like I still have faith in Carvajal, regardless of what bad form he's shown. So yeah, I feel like it's important to plan his return. So I would start Nacho just for that. I don't want to throw him in the line of fire. This first day face Samuel Lino and try to mark Cavani and lose a header, all of that. Let's stay at home, let Nacho handle it for a while, and yeah, eventually make your way back into the team because I mean everybody knows that okay, we don't have a lot of right back options. At least for that reason, he will be our first choice left right back, and it's very important to have our first choice right back properly integrated back into the team post. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And anyways, Alaba is still out. Like, Farooq, have you heard anything about any chatter about that? Is he gonna be back in like a couple of weeks, or is he still like permanently injured?
Actually, I think I heard he was like doing indoor trainings, if I'm not mistaken. He was
Okay.
training indoor, David Alva. So I think that means he should be back likely in a couple of months, but I'm not really sure about that. But I remember hearing that he was doing some training. So yeah, I mean, let's see how how we build up to that because the point is Mendy is missing right now, so that's something huge. I don't know how or what will happen with David Alba in the left back position eventually. Like Mendy is missing, I think till April, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, David Alaba was a left back once upon a time, so I don't know if that's because the thing is that we have to think of long-term solutions right now. The point is, I can't be there forever and ever. That's the thing. And Mendy is out for a very, very long time. So what eventually happens? So I don't know. You just
Yeah,
have to see that as well.
Alaba at Alaba at left back in the beginning of the season was terrifying. He had no recovery pace. Kept
I mean,
leaving
what
holes.
is the other option? Like we saw Rudiger as well.
Yeah, there's no other option. Like I don't know. Like Alaba at left back gives me night. I feel like we will get absolutely skinned on transitions if we play Alaba at left back. He really does push forward as well.
Yeah.
We might see some, like, if you remember the last couple of years of Marcelo, that time we had Ramos, we had Casemiro. We don't have Ramos now. We don't have Casemiro either to make up for how aggressive Marcelo's positioning was. So we'll see that from Alaba. His recovery pace is not that good. So lots of holes. Like that is one thing I would be very against. Like even play Nacho there. Even play I don't care, play Rudiger there, right? But not Alaba. We can't stop that. I feel. That's just my
Yeah, these smaller games, I feel like Alaba could take up the mantle because he's so good at putting the cross in and passing out from the back. But when teams have pacey right wingers, Alaba just can't handle it when they run in behind him. Well, I guess the fullback position is always going to be a question mark with these player availabilities. But
Yeah.
Vishal, like, how good has Militao been this season?
Oh man, like all year I feel like he's been our best centre back. Lights out. Like not even close, in my opinion. Like maybe in part because Alaba has been absent here and there, and for my money, Rudiger has been impressive on the last 2 3 games till now in 2022 23. But Militao, man, on his own, so good, such a great aggressive defender. Who knows what he wants? He wants to take the ball out of your feet before you can even breathe, and he does it so well. And he has such a good positional sense, good recovery pace, and his distribution's improving so much as well. Like on the ball, he's making good decisions. He's finding Vinny behind defensive lines from where he is, which is near our penalty box. So his passing's improving to my eyes. Yeah, I think like a good shout for one of the best defenders in the world right now, Eder Militao. Like very, very, very solid, very aggressive and solid. I think that's what's important. He is what I thought Rudiger would be, to be very honest. He's turned out to be that and even better. So, yeah, Militao is just, I mean, in my opinion, first name on the sheet. Like, that is the first name on the sheet. Or Courtois or Militao. These two are the first two names on the sheet, without a doubt.
Yeah, they have no real replacements, and I'll just like to look at a couple of comments. So Sunet says Militao is Lucio region. Totally agree with that. They have a similar style of play as well. And Ilamas mentions, I don't understand why we didn't just snap up João Cancelo before the Bayern Munich as a match. He would be a perfect fit. And in an ideal world, that would be the case. But like like Carlo Ancelotti said, it's not in the Real Madrid DNA to go after any player in the winter transfer market because he did specifically say you only have to make a transfer in the window in the winter transfer window only if you didn't plan properly in the summer or if you had like a gruesome injury happen.
Oh wow. I mean, somebody named Mendy didn't get injured like 3 4 days ago, right?
He did specifically say that Mendy is not out for such a long time, so it's gonna be okay because we will have Alaba back and Nacho as well.
Yeah, I feel like
Fantastic.
there are two things I've made my peace with as a Madrid fan, and it's really helped my life. One is not having any expectations in the transfer window, and two is not having any expectations for Castilla to main team promotion. I think once I realized these two things, I mean, it's just how the club functions, and there's no point expecting it to function any other way. I'm just like, whatever, let's just ride out the storm and see how it goes, right? One thing I would say is I can't think of a better squad to put faith in to ride out the season. I also do want to say that yes, we all want new players. Yes, we all want better players, better things, more depth, etc. But I mean, we were supposed to be in a rebuild, and we did quite impossible things last season. This season also we started off really well. I feel we were winning. I don't know how many games on the bounce. Like it was so long till we lost our first game. Then whatever. I feel like post World Cup, there's been a dip. But yeah, I mean, like it's just I've just sort of it's a very personal thing. Like I feel like making my own peace with it. I just sort of let all of this go by and see how the team looks on February 1st. Usually looks the same. Fine, whatever. Live with it. Let's hope they do it. Like it's just how it's always been. It's not gonna change, especially after Jovic and stuff. It's not gonna change at all. Like as far as the club's concerned, Jovic was the experiment of, let's say, maybe we will sign somebody who we haven't scouted for 50 million years. But yeah, that didn't work out. So I feel like the club's gonna go even more conservative since that. So yeah, I mean, it's, it's just a personal thing. Like I feel like I've been able to not worry about these things so much because at the end of the day, I don't see much change, right? Like middle of the transfer market, end of the transfer market, beginning of the transfer market, you can ask for signings, but we'll make signings only if the board has decided to make a signing. That's just how we work. We are not as, let's say, reactive as many clubs are in the transfer market. Good thing, bad thing, but that is what is happening, right? So yeah, like I mean, earlier you were asking if I was also like looking at all this in the negative light. Like I think for like 2 3 years I've just been letting all like pass by. Like it's just they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. Uh, just football we can worry about. If we're not playing good football, we can all be mad about that. But transfer market, they are literally gonna do what they want to do. So whatever.
I think Michelle, you're probably like the healthiest Real Madrid fan, mentally speaking.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, like oh, everyone's like freaking out, dude. Like even Twitter and stuff. Like, and I get it. I obviously get it. There are real concerns, but I mean, yeah, what do you want to do? It's Real Madrid. There are many pros to being a Madrid fan. This is like one of the small. January, nothing happened.
Mm.
Well, Vishal, don't you think the times are changing though? The point is this, right? How it's been, 10 years back, it's literally not the same right now, honestly. And that's the thing. Like the landscape is changing so much. I mean, the point is, in the next 2 3 years, you're going to start to compete with Newcastle again uh, for the Champions League title. So that's now no longer just 2 3 teams from England. That's now 3 4 teams from England. Whether you like it or not, like Paris are going to become a force to reckon with in Europe one day. You're going to start to compete with these guys as well. You understand? So it's no longer as it was before, where like you always know that okay, like you're gonna have that squad that's better than every single one. No, that's not it anymore. You understand? I mean, it was in the past where we were spoiled with choices and this and that, but right now, I mean, you talk about a rebuild, but what are you rebuilding? Who are you rebuilding with? You're rebuilding just midfielders. What are you rebuilding with? You don't have a striker. You don't have a left back. You don't have a right back. Your defenders are 30 years old, 30 plus, not even 30 years old. Militao is the only single one. What are you rebuilding with? With whom? Carl
Right. I mean,
Ancelotti is like
I would
1 million years old.
I would say that it's just the backup striker. When the season started, we had Carvajal, we had Lucas Vasquez. Left back, we had Mendy. Left back, yeah, maybe a little bit sus. Midfield, we were stacked. Centre backs, we got Rudiger. Midfield, we also got Germany on top of that. So backup striker was the only position that looked critical. In hindsight, a lot of things look a little bit more critical than they are. Maybe we should have anticipated that with injuries and stuff. But like, I mean, yeah, winter we were just never gonna do anything. But before the season started, we looked okay with two good reinforcements. Backup striker we've been crying for like before this season as well. Whatever reason that's not being considered, I would say that's a bit of a miss. Like I would have liked Raul Thomas or somebody to be there as a backup option. But apart from that, yeah, as far as time changing, yeah, I feel like it's not critical point yet. But I mean, at some point we will have to tip as well, maybe become more aggressive. Like I think this transfer season has been crazy to the point where something is gonna change. Either Tebas is gonna relax up on our FFP, La Liga FFP restrictions, or something's gonna happen to stop Premier League clubs from going absolutely crazy across the table. If that doesn't happen, yes, I see us getting screwed. and if we don't change our strategy. But I mean, I feel like for this year we were pretty good. Maybe yeah, Mendy being out, signing Fran, but I don't think Fran. First of all, I don't think Fran is the answer to too many things either. Um, I don't rate him that much, to be honest. Like he'll be good, but I don't think he is Jesus in white clothing or anything, right? So it's not like he is the ideal solution either. If we sign Guardiola, now that's an interesting option, even if not for left back, just in terms of defense. That, but yeah, like I'm really not sure what we are sort of holding out for. That is true. We are holding out for something. But let's see. Maybe it's true. I'm not
I
sure
mean,
how
I
that
totally
goes.
agree with all what you're saying, Vishal. I'm cool with that. But what I'm just saying is that, like, I keep hearing everyone saying we're doing a review, you understand? So that's what, like, okay, we're doing a review. That's why we're in this phase where you have, like, garbage football for week after week. I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. Like, we went to Paris and played for garbage for, we played against Paris German, I think, for around 100 minutes playing garbage. 20 minutes, we came into gear. The only Champions League tie I would say was totally perfect was the first leg against Chelsea in England. And we came back to Madrid and let them do all the garbage. And then also, hero ball came into play. Against Man City, again, it was hero ball. In the final, obviously, it was a tactical masterclass from, from Carlo Ancelotti. You can take that away from him. It was a snooze fest, but I could understand the snooze fest. It was a tactical masterclass from him. Perfect, I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't take anything away from him. Well, the point is the idea that we're sort of in a review. That's why we're going through this phase. And I keep looking and thinking. I mean, Rudiger is 30, if I'm not mistaken, or 31. I don't know. Alaba is 30 or 31. Like, what review are you talking about there? You literally have. I mean, other than that, Benzema is 30. What? In the midfield, there is a review. Fine and good. I can accept that. But anyways, I mean, that's not the discussion for this. If we start this, we're just gonna go on and on and on and on and on. But then it is what it is. That's the club we all love and support. But I think we need to change some things. Either the European Super League happens, or as Angeli was saying, the former president of Juventus, like everything is just gonna be English Premier League and the rest of and the rest of the world. That's just it. I mean, people think like clubs are too big to fail, but I mean, clubs like AC Milan has failed, and like that was the biggest club, once upon a time. If clubs like AC Milan can fail, then anyone can fail, literally anyone. So yeah, I mean, that's just the thing. Like we need to really take note of these things. So obviously, like I'm like like all doom and gloom, but that's the thing. Like these things can happen. Really these things can happen. I mean, it was just 2007 that AC Milan was going to 2 consecutive finals. I mean, 2 finals in 3 years with the squad with Kaka and that FIFA 11 squad. So yeah, but it is what it is, man. Anyways, let's just
Like
let's move on. Let's not.
I just want to add to the doom and gloom, right? I feel like like couple more like Hazard like transfers, and then that could like really sink us for like a season or two. And even this season, like we had a couple of bad like I wouldn't say bad. It's just I couldn't understand those transfer decisions, especially with signing Endrick when we had such a need for an immediate backup striker or a backup right back. We brought Odriozola back. God knows why, because he hasn't been good anywhere that we've sent him. He hasn't been good, and we just refuse to sign someone decent.
So Jacob, I couldn't hear the last part of what you said.
Oh, did I cut out?
No.
No, I was just saying the Endrick signing I didn't understand because we had an immediate need for a right back, and we had an immediate need for a right back, and we chose to bring Odriozola back because he has been bad everywhere that we've sent him. He has been bad whenever he has played, even in like third tier sides in the Copa del Rey. He has been bad. So it just sometimes we just make these transitions that makes no sense, and we have to live with it.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I really do understand the Hendrick thing because considering how much good Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior, especially Vinicius Junior, have turned out. I mean, for that I literally have no comment because I mean you can't say anything. If the person who is bringing Vini and Rodrigo is saying to you, okay, I trust this kid, I trust whatever he's saying. I totally and I can understand your point about the fact that you have an immediate need right now, and why are you two looking at that, Jacob? When it's the summer and they go and spend $1 billion on what's he called on
Bellingham.
Bellingham, and you are left with Fran Garcia and Lucas Vasquez in the Champions League semi-final, then we can have that discussion next year.
Fair point, Farooq. Let's see. Only time will tell.
Only time will tell indeed, man. Only time will tell.
Anyways, I guess we ran through the mid defense as well for the starting lineup. We went to Rudiger, Militao, Carvajal if he's back up and kicking, and probably Camavinga. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
guess
now it remains the most doubtful position in the team, the goalkeeper. I'm wondering who's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know.
man, feel for Lonen. I don't even feel like laughing with you, but yeah, it is going to be Courtois.
Yeah, only the best
Yeah, I
goalkeeper in
mean,
the world.
that's the thing, man. Undoubtedly, like we have the best goalkeeper in the world. I mean, yeah, I mean, right. Kudos to Courtois. I mean, I don't know, man. Even in the games where we play outrageously, Thibaut just has to make that one class save. I don't know how that always happens, but yeah, credit. I mean, I feel so sad. The man has just one clean sheet in La Liga.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, like I just always try to also remind myself the point is that even Casillas, I think, has won Zamora Trophy throughout his career at Real Madrid. And even then he had like 32 goals considered, or 30 goals, I'm not sure, which is almost like one goal every game. And like you have the likes of Oblak and Valdez conceding like 14 goals, 15 goals, 16 goals in the season. So I mean, clean sheets has never been our forte, so like it's not a big deal.
Absolutely. And yeah, before we like head into the predictions, Javier in the comments saying Odriozola is bad, yes, but imagine playing every 6 months and expecting it to do it well. But Javier, I would say like even with Fiorentina when he was on loan, we know his weaknesses, right? He's so bad at tracking back and then actually defending, which a right back should be having his main priority on. And in attack, he doesn't contribute enough to warrant a starting position. So it's like either way, you lose with Odriozola.
Yeah, with Odriozola, it's just a matter of base level quality and a right back, which, in my opinion, is not. Like, his base level itself is not very high. Definitely not Real Madrid level. That that's a whole other conversation. I don't even know backup, whatever can play, I guess. But
I don't
yeah,
know.
I mean, fullbacks like yeah, that's the one place where I have as much rage as Farouk has. Like it just looks sad, especially with Mendy and Carvajal out of form. I think that's the main reason. Like both of them have been like really, I don't know, like they've just taken 5 to 6 steps downwards. It's making things look worse, but like we are having to rely on our backups a bit now, and it's becoming a bit clear that our backups are pretty not maybe not not up there.
Absolutely. Okay. And I guess do you guys have anything else, or we can head down to the predictions?
That's the prediction.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I think we've taken this for so long, man. We just need to pity our audio listeners when they're gonna listen tomorrow. So let's just
Oh boy.
try to wrap it up as soon as possible.
All right. I did see. Okay. I'll start with Javier's prediction in the comments. He says Vinny scored twice and one Benz. So it's going to be a 3-0 victory.
Oh, wow, that's very generous, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for a 2-1 victory. I think it's gonna be something more. I mean, we don't keep clean sheets, so there's that. And I think it's gonna be much more closer than Javier predicts. So I think I'm gonna go for a 2.
Right.
Rashad?
Yeah. I'll go with 2-0. For some reason, I feel like we're gonna keep a clean sheet. This is probably the best time to do it against Valencia that I don't know, gonna be here and there. I suppose tomorrow. So yeah, I'll say 2-0. I think we'll score tomorrow. Thierry Correa missing is gonna be huge for the right side. Vinicius is gonna have something of a field day in my opinion. So I'd expect goals, and I'll say 2-0, staying optimistic.
Yeah. I'd like to like partly goes in support with Javier's prediction because Vinicius hasn't scored since October, man. And I know there was the World Cup in between, but I feel like this is his game to kind of get back into scoring, and the team as a whole is going to help him score, I feel. So it's going to be a comfortable 2-0 victory, similar to what Vishal said.
You mean in La Liga, right? Not because I remember
Yeah.
he scored against Villarreal.
Yeah, in La Liga, yeah. So yeah, let's just hope he
So
gets
you
back.
said 2-0 or 3-0?
2-0, 2-0. Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
perfect,
go.
perfect.
So,
Yeah, then. That's
so yeah, optimistic
So we're scoring at least
predictions.
2 goals tomorrow.
Yeah, very optimistic. Farouk, is it
Yeah,
okay?
man.
I'll ask one more prediction from you, Farouk. Is it gonna be beautiful football tomorrow?
Nah. I think Carlo would say, yeah, we've tried that and we don't score goals. Let's go back to what we know.
I'll go against that. I think Germany solves all of our beauty problems. He will help first, second, and third place. So,
I mean,
and
I don't know what you've been watching, Vishal, or how you choose to define beautiful football. And the Chouameni was there in October as well. When I
October,
mean,
go before October, bro. Like we were playing
I mean,
very fluid.
the slump has been there since before the World Cup, man. So I mean, well, let's see, man.
No,
Let's
I feel
let's
like it was just a month before the World Cup. Until then, we were playing very fluid
I mean, it
football,
was
I'd say.
4 games before because I remember, if I'm not mistaken, we played against Sevilla and it was a good game. After that, we went to Leipzig. We lost at Leipzig. We drew at in
Yeah.
Girona. We lost at Valladolid, something like that.
That
So
Leipzig was what started like the whole
exactly, the Leipzig game was the
thing.
beginning of everything.
Yeah.
Although we won at Celtic again, I think we won 5-0 against
Mhm.
Celtic at the Bernabeu or something like that. But it's just been yeah. But I really hope like Chouameni is in the cure
Savior.
for everything.
Yeah,
But yeah, let's
I'm
see,
willing
man.
to risk like, whatever my word on that. I feel like it's gonna be the turning point for the
Yeah,
season
but
as well. For the season as well. So yeah.
to answer your question, Jacob, man, I think we're gonna revert to just low block and just throw, just give the ball to one midfielder. He throws a long ball to Benzema. Benzema plays in Vinicius. Vinicius cuts back and it's a goal from Benzema or Vinicius or something like that. So it's just going to be those classic plays again.
All right, and there you have it, folks.
Hey, what's yours, bro? Are we seeing good football, Jacob?
Oh, mine? I don't think so, to be honest, because this is not going to be an open game like in Real Sociedad, and I feel like we're going to struggle back to the old ways. So, anyways, I guess this has been an awesome podcast. Thanks for all the listeners who are tuning in. Do smash the like button below if you are here, because it helps a lot. And especially if you're a new person who's not a subscriber, please do subscribe as well. Also consider taking a look at our socials on Instagram and Twitter. We have some good content there. Do follow our supporters over at who was that?
RM committee.
Remerit Committee, who have really awesome content there. Please do give them a like and a follow. So yeah, I guess we can wrap this up. Hala Madrid, guys.
Hala Madrid.